And what is happening, YouTube and Weight Loss Warriors? It's your boy C Dub, and I'm back with a special guest today. Today, I'm going to interview Chris, and I'm going to do it right after this. All right, guys, what's happening? It's your boy C Dub, and I'm here with Chris. And Chris has an interesting story. And one of the reasons that compelled me to want to bring him out on the channel is because I think a lot of people are impressed that I lost weight at 40 years old. This guy right here crushes me. So I want to first, how old are you, Chris?
57.
57 years old. And when you look at this guy, not only can you see it here in the interview, but you can see it in his before and afters that I'm going to have on the up on the side over here. I mean, he's obviously crushing it at 57 years old, guys. So first, I want to ask you, what were you at your heaviest weight?
At my heaviest, I was at 315.
You were at 315, and what are you weighing today?
177.
Oh, 177 pounds. That is an incredibly ripped 177 too, guys. So let's see. That's 100 to 115, and then basically another 30 on top of that. So it's 130 plus pound weight loss, right?
Yes.
Wow, that's impressive. So I want to get into the backstory, but before we get going into the backstory, when did you start? How old were you when you started this weight loss journey?
I was 56, so this was at my heaviest. It's October of last year.
Wow.
And I just started. I retired from law enforcement, and I said I didn't have any excuses not to work out and do the right thing. So I tell all my friends it's never too late. You have time. There's 24 hours in a day. I work out minimal hour a day, maybe hour and a half, depending on how motivated I am, and I try to stay motivated. So there's no excuses. Being retired, I didn't have to work as an excuse. I had plenty of time. It was just a matter of eating right and getting it done.
Okay, so you started gaining weight when? When did you start getting heavy? What's the backstory?
It was my last year, because when I first started in my career in law enforcement, I was one of those guys that, I was part of all the specialist teams, Marshall's Task Force, the emergency response team. I was doing all that stuff. My last year, the boss had said, hey, we want you to come inside, help doing training. So I was at a desk for a good year. And, when you're sitting at a desk, you're not moving around, you're sedentary, and you're making bad choices, eating, the fast food, donuts, whatnot, and the pounds just, I can't say they came out of nowhere. I know where they came from, just from not eating right. And, when I got 2017 is when I retired, and I looked at myself like, oh my God, I got to do something about this.
Yeah. So what was that aha moment? What made you say, all right, this is it?
Yeah. It's a funny story. I was traveling, and if you ever travel, how confined the seats are on domestic airlines. They're small enough. And then trying to put that seatbelt on, and it wouldn't go around, and I'm like, oh my God, this is embarrassing. Luckily, I had a real nice flight attendant who kind of snuck me that extender, and I said that was the moment that I said, hey, it's time to shed some of these pounds.
I know everybody's tuned in today to hear your story, but you touched home because I have been on that same plane and to get that buckle. Now, I never had to get the extender, but I remember flying all the way to Las Vegas where I had to open it as much as possible and suck in my stomach the entire 6-hour flight. Yes. So I didn't have to ask for that extender,
Right.
And what I can see how that would motivate you. I definitely can. So, so you decide, okay, enough is enough. I need to make a change.
Right.
So what was the plan? How did you start your change? What was the first step?
A friend of mine was seeing the trainer I'm seeing now. I live here in California, and there's a little town called Hercules where, and this guy, my trainer, he is amazing. His wife, if some of your followers want it. She's Jenna Geary. She has a Instagram page. She does online coaching, but I actually train with her husband, Christian. And he took me slow. He said, take your time. He actually developed a meal plan for me, a workout plan, and that's what got it started.
But, I think it's funny too, because a lot of people, they want to get started and they want to jump in both feet. And I think your trainer hit it right on nail on the head. You got to have little successes and then
Right.
build big successes.
Exactly.
When you go out and you go all in, man, you end up failing. So, all right. So, was it your trainer's advice to do intermittent fasting, or is that something you discovered on your own?
That was his advice. He, like I said, we started. He was a basic plan, and I would lose. I think that first month I lost like 20 pounds. Then I hit that plateau. So he changed up my workout, gave me a new plan, and eventually he said, "Hey, let's try this intermittent fasting." Of course, at the time I didn't know anything about intermittent fasting. When he explained to me, he said, "Well, you get to eat within an 8-hour period certain foods." And I said, "Whoa, wait a minute. I can't do that. I mean, I like to eat." He said, "Try it." And it worked. It worked. I lost another, I think, 70 pounds alone on intermittent fasting. Then I plateaued again. Then he said, "Hey, let's try the keto diet." So we did that, lost more weight, and got to where I'm at today, where I lost, I think it was 130 something pounds, 130 plus pounds, like you said. So it was a mixture, because people don't understand. First, it's not going to happen overnight, because the weight gain didn't happen overnight. So the weight loss is not going to happen overnight. You got to, depending on how motivated you are and what you want to do, what you want to accomplish, you have to go with, if you have a trainer, which I was lucky enough to do, or if you do it on your own, I think the important thing is to stick with it. Do not give up. Yes, there's going to be bumps in the road, but you got to get up and keep on grinding, and that's what's going to lead to success.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, the grinding is like, I'm a wrestling coach, so it's part of wrestling's culture is to grind, and so it goes easy for me. But I say it to people all the time. I'm like, you got to keep grinding. It's
Right.
not a consistency.
Yes,
It
exactly.
replaces grinding with consistency. You have to continue to do something day in and day out,
Right.
whether you're tired, whether you want to, whether you feel like it.
Right.
And after a while, it becomes a part of your DNA. It just becomes
Correct.
who you are, And
And
I
it's funny
think
you
that's
mentioned, sorry, it's like the days that I don't feel like working out, those seems to be the days I have my best workouts. I really push. Because, I wake up and I say, you know what? Because I start at 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm in the gym. And there are days when I don't feel like getting up, but, I drag myself, it's a habit. So I drag myself into bed. He gives me my workout, different party parts every day. And I kill it the days that I don't feel like working out. I just kill it. I just, hey, let's do this. Let's get it over with, get home, do my thing, and it works.
Yeah, actually, there's another YouTuber I watch. Has nothing to do with fasting, but I just find him to be funny, and his name's Papa Swolio. I don't know if you ever seen his channel,
No, I
but
haven't.
he talks about it all the time. He's like, the best days that I have in the gym are the days I don't want to go. You
Right.
got to just go. You
Yes,
got to
exactly.
just go.
Exactly.
There's nothing else to be said about that.
Right.
All right, so now that the weight is so you did the 16-8 and then you did the keto part of it. Did you
Right.
find there to be a harder adjustment on the fasting or eating keto?
I liked keto better because for me, it gave me more variety, I felt. But I felt the fasting, I think for me, it was just psychological, to be honest. Just the thought of not being able to eat at a certain time when I was, that's how I grew up. You get hungry, you eat. You're watching a movie, 10 o'clock at night, you eat. And I just had to stop doing that. And the fact that I was able to do the fasting, it worked. So I can't say one was easier or better than the other. I just put it in my head, this is what I need to do.
A lot of people say that the two of them together is just they're both doing the same thing, but when you put them together, they're synergistic.
Right.
So in other words, you take codeine and it takes this much pain away, and you take Tylenol, it takes this much pain away, but you put it together and create Percocet, it takes this much pain away.
Right.
And they're synergistic. They don't do, they work together well. So
Right.
that's good. It's good that you're able to find that. So another question that I got for you is your personal people around you, how has it impacted them?
It's funny because the people that I still associate with who really, they cheer me on. There are those who are, they're in their own way, they're in fitness, whether it's just lifting, but I still get kind of teased about, I do the meal prep thing, of course. So I'll have my, not necessarily salad, but, grilled chicken, asparagus, and they're eating Popeyes or Philly cheesesteak, and it's, oh man, is that all you're gonna eat? Yeah, that's my meal. This is why I am. This is how I got to where I'm at. And eventually, I said, okay, yeah, bro, keep on doing what you're doing. They encourage me, but there are those very few that I really don't associate with anymore, because if you have a goal, I think you have to be people that have that same mindset that, hey, dude, hey, you want to come work out with me? You want to run with me? Those are the people I tend to go towards.
Okay. All right. Another question for you. What is a benefit you were not expecting from this intermittent fasting keto lifestyle that you got?
I just feel 110% better. I sleep better. Everything is better. Everything. I mean everything.
No, I agree with you. I tell people all the time it's like you don't even realize you're sick until you lose the weight.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And once the weight has come off you, all of a sudden out of nowhere you feel younger. You feel like you remember you used to feel. You have this energy. I didn't start exercising until far into my journey, but I started exercising because I felt better. It wasn't intentional. I didn't go into it thinking I'm going to start exercising. Fitness is going to be this big part of my life. I didn't think that. I thought I need to get this fat off me. And then once the fat was off me, I'm like, well, hey, man, going to the gym, that's a good thing. Let's go on a walk. And all of a sudden you've got that kind of next level energy. So now we're talking about where you're retired. You've lost the weight at 57. I cannot say that again, guys. If you're watching this channel, there's no excuses about age.
Exactly.
Age is just a number. So now all these things are there. You're feeling better than you felt. What are you gonna do now, man? Like you got this whole new life. You got any projects?
Well, yeah, I'm getting into dog training. I'm surprised my dog isn't here. Usually when I'm on the computer, she'll come in here and jump on the bed and look over my shoulder, but I guess she's out chilling in the living room. That's my hobby now. I love working with animals. Learning to be first off a pet dog trainer, and also I want to get into protection training. And right now that's my passion. That, and of course the gym. When people say, "What do you do for fun?" Oh, I go work out, man. What do you do?
Yeah. All right. One more quick question about the trainer, because it's a part that I didn't have in my personal journey. What do you think? Do you think that the trainer has helped push you to a place where you couldn't have gone without him? And do you think that a lot of people would benefit from looking into finding somebody that is like-minded? Because you can't just go get a trainer.
Right.
You have to get a trainer that fits with you and what your goals are. Do you think that's something you would recommend people doing, or do you think it's individual?
What I would recommend, find something, whether it be something or somebody that motivates you. Just to give you a little backstory, I was an athlete in high school. I was a sprinter. 100, 200, 400 meters, I would run. And it was my adult life, 20s, of course. When I got into law enforcement, of course, you had to pass that physical exam. You had to pass the physical for the special teams. So like I said, when I retired, it was like, okay, look at you now. What are you going to do? Somebody introduced me to this guy. They said, hey, I could help you. So for me, that was my motivation, being around people who are also into fitness. They are my motivation, especially when they say, oh, dude, you're looking good. And to hear that from somebody who's into fitness, that does wonders for you. You know, it's like even when my neighbors, I'll say, "Oh, Chris, man, you lost so much weight." I'm like, "Yeah." And they'll say, "Hey, keep on doing it, man." And you neighbor lives a couple of doors down from me. He actually started running himself. So hearing stuff like that is what keeps me going.
Yeah, I think that I also was a high school athlete, and I think there's definitely an advantage to coming from that kind of a background because you know what it's like to suffer,
Right.
and so it's easier to adjust. And I think some people don't have that, and those people, it's just for me too. My advice to them would be to slow down and take it slow and build that suffering over time. Don't jump right into it, but
Right.
all right, man. Before we get off of here, I want you to say, listen, one of these guys that have subscribed to my channel and they're throwing it on. I just on my live today had a lady say she was starting tomorrow. So and she popped up in the chat and said, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm starting tomorrow. So if you're talking to her, she's watching this video on Thursday. What advice do you have for her? And where would you start? And what have you learned?
You know, the first day for me was the hardest, but it's so worth it. Stick with it. Don't give up. Like there's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days, especially when it comes to, I think the key to fitness, it's probably 80% diet, 20%, what you do when you're exercise. And the important thing is do not give up. There's going to be haters out there. There's going to be people tell you can't do it, but you can if you want to. Get it in your head. You set that goal, crush it, go to the next one.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, man. And just to let you know, my pops is been doing one meal a day, and he down to the weight he was in the army. He's 73, I believe, right now. Or he
Wow.
turned 73 in a couple of weeks, and he's down to 155 pounds. He's looking good, but everywhere he goes, somebody says he looks too small, and I'm like, and it bothers him. And he's like, "Well, am I too small?" And I'm like, "No, man, your BMI is perfect." But it's haters.
Yeah.
It's haters, and you're seeing it to it. I mean, look, it isn't very hard for anyone to see that you've been a huge success and to know that you turn that around and they can too, and that age is
Anybody.
just a number. It's
Yeah.
just motivation, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate you joining me, guys. Where can they reach you if they want to reach out to you?
They can hit me up on my Instagram, Mr. CTS. I'm there. I'm on Facebook as well. And like I said, anything I can do to motivate another person, because it's definitely worth it. You feel better. Everything is so much better. And I won't say the word, but the haters, do that. Don't listen to them. There are people out there like you, they're struggling. And no, it's not easy, but it is so worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll send an invitation to you too, speaking of Facebook, to the Fasting Club, where Nurse Eric runs that, man. He's fantastic. And you can lend out some advice, show your before and after pictures to those guys. There's 7,000 people that are going through a journey too. And I know if you want to share it with people, that's a good place to share your story. Guys, I hope all of you go follow him on Instagram. Make sure you comment down below to him. I'm sure he'll read through your comments after this gets posted. I think it's coming up on Thursday for your information, Chris. And
Okay.
I'll keep you on the line, but I'll let everybody go in YouTube land. So, guys, I appreciate y'all. I'll talk to you next one. Peace.